Look at everybody on the call today. Welcome to the Brooks and Davis, the Create Your New Life Real Estate Training, powered by Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm. Okay, so what are we going to be talking about today? Tricks of the trade. Give me 1 second. Let me close this door. We'll get it going. All right. Make sure that I don't get interrupted. But tricks of the trade is what we're going to be talking about today. Because, again, real estate is just one of those businesses on the outside looking in. It seems as if it's easy to do. And most people don't realize how many variables, how many moving pieces there are in getting somebody who has the desire to that has a real estate need, maybe purchasing a home, selling a home, whatever the need is, to get that person from that stage to getting them closed. A lot of people just don't really understand what all goes into all of that. So we're going to talk about some things to help you be more engaged. We're going to talk about some things to help you be more motivated as you continue to add people to your pipeline and create that type of business that offers the consistent income. So we're going to talk about things to to bring in the consistency of what we do. Okay, now again, at any point, if I'm talking about something, if you want to chime in, you have a comment, please do that. It's not just about me talking. I'm always going to have enough content for me to facilitate and do the trainings, but I really like it to be a dialogue. I want it to be engaging. If you have questions, let's jump into it because I feel like that's where we'll really get the most bang for our buck from us getting together every week. Okay, so what we have going on. Let's talk about what's being added to the pending board. So I'm doing that every week. Get your name and lights on who's producing, who's getting some stuff done. We're going to look at that. So, right as of this week, see, it's not sharing it. There we go. Okay, so as of this week, we have $5.5 million worth of production. So we lost a little bit over the week, but we're going to keep, grinding it out. We want to get that number up over 6 million as soon as possible. So we're at 5.5 million. And again, this is the production of fully executed contracts. So whether buyer, seller, if it's been signed by the both parties and it's fully executed, then it gets on the board and we count it in our running production. So if if you haven't sent me, as soon as you get something on the contract, send me a text, with the information so I can get it in there so we can start counting it. As far as who we've added, so over this week, Carol, she added $182,000 worth of production to the board. So woohoo! Way to go, Carol. Let's keep cranking it out. By doing that, she actually has surpassed Mrs. Washington as the #1 producing agent for Brooks and Davis. So she's knocked her off the top seat. She's knocked Kim off the top seat. So now Carol is the one that everyone needs to be gunning for. And then Brina actually knocked Juliana out of the 5th spot for this week as well. So got Juliana out of the top 5. So that kind of rounds out our top 5 right now. And let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Okay. The opportunity is there. Don't believe the hype. If people are out there talking about people aren't making money in this business, don't believe it because people are making it. People are adding stuff to the board. Every week I've said, hey, so and so and so and so has added production to the board. So people are out there doing it, and let's keep up the good work, guys. Let's keep it going. Remember, we're striving to be number one in the state of Texas over the next 4 years, and we're always going to be pushing to get that done. Okay, couple other things, couple other events that we have going on. I've sent it out, via the group me. Sent it out on email and things like that about our. We'll talk about the Homebuyer Workshop that we have coming up. So we're doing this Homebuyer Workshop with Churchill Mortgage. I did my best to kind of explain it via the group me, but it's nothing like me talking through it, and so we're going to spend a little time talking through that on how we can best, how we could best utilize that. Okay, hold on. I'm saying that my group me didn't go out. So how we can best utilize that. Let me resend this. All right, so next Saturday, I'm sorry, not next Saturday, July the 9th, we're going to be doing this, oh, there we go. We're going to be doing a home buyers workshop in conjunction with Churchill Mortgage. So now Letitia Mijas is the one that's going to be doing the presentation. So it's not anything that you have to prepare for. All you have to do is get people to attend the event. Okay? So they're taking care of the location. They're taking care of whatever breakfast things that's going to be there. They're pretty much taking care of everything. They just in essence want to tap into our circles, our databases to drive attendance. Okay, now that's great because again, there are plenty of people out there that are thinking about buying a home, and you have to identify what separates you from the pack. Okay, you're thinking about it, or you're posting on social media, you're sending emails out, you're making phone calls. It's one thing to do all that saying, hi, I'm a realtor, use me if you want to buy a house. It's one thing to do that versus saying, I'm a realtor, we have a home buyer workshop coming up on Saturday. If you've been thinking about buying a home, attend it, right? Those are two totally separate things, and the customers or the consumer base is going to view you differently, right? See, one is being viewed as, the sweaty salesperson, right? That's begging for business, that's desperate for business. They're going to see it like that, versus seeing as an expert that's offering an opportunity of information and data, right? Remember, we're in the information age. So the people that are valued these days are those that can disseminate either information that other people don't have access to or disseminate information very quickly, right? So now you have to duplicate yourself on turning yourself into an information sort terminal to where information is flowing through in you and out you to the populace, to the world. And that's what's really going to help you grow your business and really tap into your circles of influence, right? So now this is a great opportunity for you to get to have a reason to reach out to your people, whether that's, again, your social media contacts on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, your email databases. It's a great thing to blast this out, right? To get on the phone with people that may have called, leads that may have called and mentioned that they were interested in, things, and just kind of fell off the bridge. There's a great opportunity to reach back up to those people, tap back into those people, and it doesn't, see, by doing it this way, you're not viewed as harassing or hounding them or anything like that. You're just, informing them. You're being informative. So that's seen a lot different than doing it the other way, right? So, this along with the home seller workshop we're going to be doing in August. Both of these are great opportunities for you to start shaking some trees, reaching out to people, touching them, engaging them, and getting them to get on board and to attend this event. We've already started. I have it. I use and since we're talking about tricks of the trade, we're talking about tools today. I'm actually using a tool. I hadn't planned on talking about it today, but I think it's a great opportunity for us to do it now. Is that I'm using a tool called Hootsuite, and I pay like $15 a month. Everything's not free, but I pay about $15 a month. They do have a free service, but because we have multiple social media accounts, we have to pay. But Hootsuite allows me to send out multiple um, posts and allows me to schedule them, and as well as in constant contact allows me to do the same thing. So I've actually sat down at my computer and spent all of maybe about an hour, and I've scheduled all the promotion from social media. I've scheduled all of it to go out from here to until the event starts. So for the buyer side and the seller side. So our people are going to get this thing automatically, right? Without me putting in any more effort. I spend all of about an hour setting all this stuff up. My flyers, emails. I think it's going out the flyers going out 3 different times via email. It's going to have like a couple of different posts to where the Eventbrite link is linked to it, and it allows the individual to sign up at that moment. So there are resources, there are tools out there that allow you to do things like that. So now I'm in a position to where I can engage my database 3 times, but it's on autopilot. So I'm still freed up to go grow that thing and do the things that do the activities that actually make us money. So I think that was a good segue to talk about. And again, the name of that tool is called Hootsuite, Hootsuite, and it's a great tool. It's something that we use. Okay, the next thing we have coming up is this stuffing party. Okay, so what's that all about? I think that's a great opportunity for you to pick up some listings. Now, some of the things that we're doing, it's not your traditional run-of-the-mill real estate. Now, we do the traditional run-of-the-mill for sale by owners, call for sale by owners, call expireds, referrals. So we do that stuff. But we also, from a standpoint of, hey, there's plenty of business out there that you can create. So look at creating your own listings. Look at creating your own buyers. So when I say create a listing, what am I talking about? Design Tech Homes is a custom builder. So what happens is they make money by people hiring them to build property on their land. That's how they make their money. Okay, now they're not like a Perry Homes, they're not like a KB or David Weekley, because see, all those builders actually own the land that they're building on. This is the builder does not own the land. They'll build a house, but they don't own the land. So how do you create business like that? Well, the way you create business like that is that you find people that have land that want to sell their land, and then you market the builder's product on the land that's for sale, right? So now if you have Mrs. Seller who has 123 Palm Street, it's a 5,000 square foot lot, or say a 7,000 square foot lot, and she wants say $20,000 for the lot. Well, if Design Tech Homes can build a house for $150,000, then you take the house, you take the lot, you add them together, that's $170. You market it. So you market. I have a house for sale. That's $170,000. So that's what I'm talking about when I say you're creating business. You're creating opportunities for yourself. That's what I mean when I say that. So on Thursday, the 14th, what we're going to be doing is that we're going to be, and it's all on Design Deck Home. They're going to take care of it, right? So they're going to take care of the envelopes, the stamps. We sent them a list of names. They're going to print the letters. All we have to do is stuff them in the envelope, seal them, and they're going to even take care of and putting it in the mail. So what these letters are and what this list is, this is a list of individuals that own land, lots. We're going to be sending them letters, letting them know if they're interested in selling, then we would like to help them sell their lots, right? Or that we have buyers that are interested in purchasing their lots. So it's going to be in Brooks and Davis letterhead. So it's going to seem as if the letter is coming from Brooks and Davis. All right. So now, when the people call in, inquire about it, and they do decide to, allow us to list the properties, then what we're going to do is we're going to get a Design Tech Home product, and we're going to list the lot and market it with the Design Tech Home product on the lot, wherever it is. So now, if the sellers, in the areas that we're going to be marketing to, we're going to be marketing to more of your, your luxury brand homes, right? So we're going to be marketing to where we can possibly put a $350,000, $400,000 house on the market, and then at that point, any buyer that comes and purchases that home, now our commission has gone from 3% of a $50,000 lot to 3% of a $300,000 lot. Now, which one would you rather have? 3% of a $50,000 lot or 3% of a $300 house? You tell me, right? So it just makes sense for us to go from what you've done is you've increased your profitability instantaneously by just having an arrangement with a custom builder, putting that thing on that lot, and presenting those things together. So for those that participate in the stuffing party on Thursday, when the people start calling and say they want their lots listed, we're just going to go down that list of the people that attended and stuff the envelopes. Those are the only people that are going to be able to have access to the people that call in. Now, if nobody shows up, I'm going to be there. So if nobody else shows up, I guess I'll get all the listings, right? But only the people that show up to the event are going to be the ones to be able to take the property and be able to market the property. Now, by being able to have a listing, and because we all know the magic that comes with having listings. So being able to have a listing at that level of price point is going to work wonders for your business and how the consumer base sees you, as well as the opportunities to get the leads and the phone calls off of it. So it's a great opportunity, and we encourage each and every one of you, if you're available, to attend and help us out with that. Okay, so what's going on now? The reason that I had to push the Create Your New Life real estate training to today was because, again, we talked a little bit about it last week. HAR's central management was having an issues briefing. Now, I always want to be in the building when certain individuals are meeting and when certain information is going out. And again, I echo what I said last week. You need to get involved with HAR, get on one of the committees, and then you'll get these private invites. You'll get these personal invites so you can be in the room when information is going around about what's coming down the pipeline, what things to be looking for. Hey, look, at the end of the day, for you to do this business, you have to pay HAR. You pay them every year. You're a part of the association. So you need to maximize what it has to offer. So we're going to talk about the event that I attended, and then we're also going to talk about going to a little bit more depth of this MLS Platinum that they're wanting to encourage people to purchase, as well as the call for action that came down the pipeline. So I'm not saying that I agree with everything that HAR does. At the end of the day, you're not going to agree with what everybody does. You're not going to always agree with what people do. But HAR definitely has some value to you as a real estate professional, especially being here in Houston as well as across the state. HAR is a very powerful association, as well as the NAR. It's a very powerful association. So it's just the best way to utilize it and leverage it, and just be cautious and careful, because it can get a little dicey if you're not paying attention to some of the moves and some of the things that they want to do. You're not always going to agree with them, and you don't always have to go with it. So the name of this thing was called the Industry Issues Briefing, right? And again, it was held by this the HAR Central Management. So this is the agenda that they had. Now, these are the people that were presenting. And again, remember, I always want to be in the room when certain people are getting together. The people that were presenting, in essence, was the leadership of the association, right? So now, when I say that, I mean the HAR chairman, which is Mario Arriaga, and you need to know who these people are, because these are the people that are making decisions on your behalf. So Mario Arriaga, he's HAR chairman. Jim Sherry, he's the HAR MLS consultant, right? Jeremy Conway, he's the HAR strategic architect, right? Listen to these names. Bob Hale, HAR president and CEO. Again, you need to know who these people are. And then Sean Daffine, he's the director of the MLS. So these are all your the executive leadership of the association, and they were presenting on what's happening as far as with the association and what's coming down the pipeline. So these are some of the things that they talked about. The first thing was upstream, and I don't know how many of you all are familiar with upstream and or even what that is. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of background about upstream. Now, upstream, let me see if I have it. No, I don't have it. Upstream is a attempt for the real estate community to compete with Zillow. So that's what upstream is. And what I mean is that right now Zillow, and that was one of the things that they talked about, Zillow commands so much of the market that or the internet, in essence, they control the data. That's where people are going to look for real estate. They're going to Zillow, right? One of the things that they talked about in our meeting was that HAR is the only major metropolitan, Houston is the only major metropolitan that's not being dominated by Zillow. The only major metropolitan. So if a person's looking for real estate, they're going to Zillow. Okay. So upstream is an attempt to compete and combat that. What upstream is instead, like right now, for you all that have listings, so you understand the process. If you have a listing and you want to market it for sale, then you go on HAR, go into Tempo, you add the information into the Tempo, and then HAR has syndication to where the information will be sent to Zillow, Homes.com. It'll be sent to all these other areas that are on the internet. Okay. Well, there are not really any other HARs across the nation, the way that we're set up. Like, we truly are blessed as real estate professionals on the tools that we have access to through our association. And I'm not just saying that just to be saying it. Like, it's for real, for real. Like, if you ever try to do business in another state or another area that doesn't have an MLS, and you have a buyer that's looking to buy something, you're forced to refer them, because they don't have, it's not set up like ours is set up, to where you can just go on HAR.com and search for it. So upstream, what would happen is that they will create this national MLS serve, to where nationally the new process will be everybody will be able to go into upstream, upload their information, and then upstream will be responsible for sending it to your Zillows and all these other people. So now, in essence, what they're trying to do is make it to where we take, like the brokers take all of our data and we put it into this one source, right? So they're trying to circumvent Zillow, right? Now, will they be successful in doing it? I don't know. I don't know if they'll be successful in doing it. One of the dots that I've kind of connected when it's come to why HAR has been so successful against Zillow is because HAR, they were just forward thinking and they actually got into the space before Zillow got into the space. So there was a HAR.com and it was a little step ahead of Zillow before Zillow really took off. So the foundation was already planted here in Houston, and as far as the consumer base in Houston, them being associated with HAR.com. Everywhere else, it's kind of late to the party. And then with this upstream thing, it might be kind of late to the party. So these are some of these slides that they pulled up. So they talked about the forces that are deemed to have significant impact. He talked about the current NAR initiatives, and the main one again was this upstream, an upstream RE project. Now, the reason that NAR is pushing upstream is because upstream is supposedly supposed to be controlled by the brokers. So it's again the brokers taking back control of the data. Because again, we're in the information age, so whoever controls the data, those are the ones that make it work. Don't mind the lady's head. She was sitting there, so I was having to take these pictures with my phone. So he talks about current. All right. So then he talks about now again, these are the things that are going to have impact to your industry. So upstream, the broker public portal initiative, right? So that's something again where the brokers are trying to circumvent Zillow. All right. Talked about the current Zillow group strategies, Realtor.com strategies, and HAR.com statewide. So in essence, they were telling us that these are the things that you need to be paying attention to because it's going to really heavily impact your business. All right. So then they kind of go into the NAR initiatives. So these are the initiatives of the National Association of Realtors, of which we are the Houston chapter of. Okay. So talks about destabilization strategies that are directed toward local associations. So they're trying to decentralize things, destabilize things, bring it all together. All right, talked about expansionism in other markets, right? So these are some of the things NAR did, may have been successful, may not have been successful. So you'll see that through RPR credit. You know, we have a credit union. You have access to a credit union by being a part of NAR. There's the NAR University that offers your designation classes, House Logic, and then Realtor Radio. So they have a radio station now. And then preparing for a contentious regime change. So that's like preparing for your executives to change. Okay, so then some of the key players and their roles. So these are the key players and the roles in this whole upstream thing that they wanted to present to us. So as you can see, like, you know, you got NAR there. Then you have RPR because RPR is the platform that upstream is going to be funneled through. Then you have your brokers, you have your agents, and then the MLS community. So, you know, I want you to understand that the MLS and HAR are two separate things. They're not the same. Now, as of right now, you have to kind of be a member of HAR to get, you know, the MLS, or you can actually be a member of the Houston Black Real Estate Association. That was something that they had to separate because of antitrust laws, because it seemed as if you had to be a member of HAR to have access to the MLS, and that's not the case. You can now get the MLS without being a member of HAR. So that just recently changed here over the last couple of years. But before that, you did have to be a member of HAR. Okay, so they also talked about Zillow, and they talked about how powerful Zillow was and Zillow's strategies. So just talked about how Zillow is worth $5.1 billion, and they have 2,300 employees. And that what made Zillow become the #1 real estate site was the Zestimate. It was something as simple of as offering an estimate of how much your house is worth by just plugging in an address. And that's what skyrocketed Zillow to be number one. Right now, again, it says Zillow's group. And when they say Zillow group, that's Zillow and Trulia, because Zillow acquired Trulia. They own 64% of the share of internet. So that means we all know that 90 plus percentage of the buyers that are looking for homes to buy, they go to the internet to find those homes. Well, you have a 64% chance of that buyer going to Zillow before they go anywhere else, right? So in essence, that's what that means. That's how strong they are. Now, it talked about the Premier program, the Premier Agent program, which is a program that we're a part of. And in essence, the Premier Agent program is where you pay Zillow some money and they send you some leads. Okay. Now, the Premier Agent program nets Zillow $540 million annually just off of agents paying them for Zillow to give us the leads that they've picked up. And that's over $100 million more than what 10%, of what, okay, no, here we go. So that's $100 million more than what all the realtors pay the National Association of Realtors a year. So that means our association receives $100 million less than Zillow from agents. It's crazy. So it's something to stay on top of. So it talked about Zillow some more. So again, this was that slide that talked about how the average agent pays $5,800 a year to Zillow. That's average. And Zillow only has 92,000 subscribers. But at $1,500 a year, that's $540 million. NAR, we pay on average $414 on average. But there's 1.1 million licensed professionals that are part of the National Association of Realtors, and at that cost, we're only paying $4.5 million. So there's a major discrepancy between the two. So they wanted us to be aware of that. And then it talked about some of the other Zillow group strategies. And then it shows the comparison. Zillow is in the green. Zillow outpaces every other major metropolitan except for Houston, is where we have a real estate site that dominates Zillow. So that's a good thing. Now, with that being said, what do you do with that information? I'm not saying you need to go out there and be a Premier agent. What I am saying is that Zillow gives you a free profile as an agent. You need to go in there and you need to fix your profile on Zillow, because Zillow is getting more eyes than everybody. Now, you need to fix your profile on Zillow, make it look nice, and you need to fix your profile and your website on HAR, because again, you're in Houston and Houston is outpacing Zillow. So you got to take advantage of where the eyeballs are. So go in your Zillow, you have an agent. All agents have a profile you can create, especially if you have a listing. I think you have to have a listing first. Then once you have a listing, you create your profile. And it'll even allow you to do the ratings, right? So you don't have to be a Premier agent to be able to access their ratings. So you want to do that, and you want to utilize their rating system. HAR, when you sign up for them, they have a website that they give you. They have a blog that they give you. All of that comes in your membership. You want to put information on there, put pictures on there, keep it updated, and you want to utilize the HAR rating system, because again, those are the two major players here in our city. Zillow, more of a national scope, HAR, more of a local scope. So when we're talking about tools and tricks of the trade, that's one of the biggest ones, is updating your Zillow profile and your HAR profile. Now, if you are able to afford and go to the next step and become a Premier agent, you should do it, because again, Zillow's getting more eyeballs than anybody. Just this morning, now I got a text from Zillow, because I'm one of their Premier agents, and You know, it went to my phone with the contact information and the property that the person's interested about. Now, when I talked to the lady on the phone, she bypassed. We actually got two signs in this yard. We have a sign for Brooks and Davis, and then we have a sign for a company that we partner with that offers owner financing. She bypassed both of those signs, bypassed HAR.com, and reached out to me through Zillow about this property. And when I talked to her, she said, we drive by that house every day. She even told me that we had added a new sign on there off on the financing. And even with all of that, she still chose Zillow as the mechanism to reach out to me. So I'm not telling you what I think is happening. Like, it's for real. Being on Zillow puts you in a different position as far as gaining access to the leads. Because at the end of the day, that's what everybody's fighting for. They're fighting for the leads, right? How do you get them? Now, is it right that we have to pay Zillow for the leads that our listings are providing? Because Zillow doesn't own not a listing, right? So it's our listings that they're marketing, that they're pimping. Is it fair? Hey, it may not be fair, but hey, we're in a country of capitalism. So it is what it is. They've set it up. You know, you either kind of get on or get ran over. So I'm not saying that you need to go out there and become a premier agent. I'm just saying that you need to be aware and you need to be conscious of what's going on. So those were the issues that were brought up. And again, this is your executive leadership giving us this information. So they're just as concerned and cautious as everybody else is. And again, HAR is killing it when it comes to Zillow, but then still barely. So it's it's something to definitely be aware of. Something to definitely be aware of. Okay, so now let's kind of here. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about some of these tools with the rest of the time that we have here. And I was already kind of considering doing a two-parter when it comes to these tools, these tricks of the trade that we can use to be more efficient. So, I may probably continue to move in that direction when it comes to that. All right, the first one that I want to, first what I want to do is show you all, take you to the good stuff folder in the 7-Dot training, because a lot of these tools that I'm going to present, they're actually in there, as well as the information that I just gave you about the event that I went to. That information is in the good stuff folder in your 7-Dot training as well. So I just want to show you real quick how to get to it. And let me share my screen. So if you go to your 7-Dot training folder, which is here, your good stuff folder, this is the folder that I'm talking about. So I'm always adding stuff to this folder. All right, so here's all the information that I just gave you about HAR, as well as the pictures, and then there's some pictures in there that I didn't put on the slideshow. And then these are the notes that I took at that meeting. So that's in your good stuff folder. The tools that I'm going to be talking about today, all of those are here in your good stuff folder, along with all these other videos, man. Like, I think that, this right here talks about how to negotiate, and I got that from Shark Tank. I thought that was a good representation of negotiation and how it works. I had the video where we talked about property showing and how to manage the client. These items of values, these are great items that you could use to pass out, items of value that you could give to your clients, and we continue to, as we get new ones, we'll put them in there. Just some quotes, just some motivational stuff, 2 rules of prospecting. Here's some advice that I gave an agent, some articles and videos. So it's some good stuff in the folder. Just encouraging you guys to take advantage of the good stuff folder. So, all right, let's see. So the first tool that I kind of want to talk about, or the first trick of the trade that I want to talk about, and this is actually my newest one, and I'm excited about it because I really think it does work to help us, especially at the corporate office and with our staff, stay focused and engaged on the priorities and to move quick. Speed is the name of the game when it comes to this business. So it allows us to move quick, because the corporate office, we get a lot of leads. We get a lot of phone calls. We get a lot of calls from agents, clients, looky-loos, investors. We just get a lot of stuff comes down the pipeline, whether that's through the phones, whether that's through me, through Mr. Brooks, through our team agents. Just a lot of stuff just coming. So how do you not get drowned out by all of that stuff? Now, look, before there was a Brooks and Davis, there was a Michael G. Davis. And it was just me, and I was having the same issues, where you reach a certain point where you've shown staying power in real estate, and people remember you, and you become very, good at your marketing, and your brand recognition in your people's eyes, and as you're growing your network, then what'll happen is that you start getting inundated with everything, because people are seeing you as the go-to, and it's just you, right? So how do you operate in that kind of environment to make sure you're still top rooting and you're dealing with the top 20% of production or opportunities? Let's say opportunities. So how do you do that, right? So this was something that really helped us manage or deal with that. And the very first tool, I call it the hot board, right? Now, some of you all have probably seen it in the office. I actually just converted it 2 weeks ago to what was called the hot board, right? Now, this is here in the office. So when you're doing your, if you guys come in and you get on the phones, then I know you've seen this board, and I know you've probably seen these sticky notes up there and never really paid any attention to it, or maybe you had. Okay, so what's the hot board? The hot board is, and when I say hot, I mean blazing. Like, the reason I call it the hot board is because I'm thinking, it's hot, it's ready to, it's cooked, it's done, it's time to take it out of the oven, right? It's ready to go. Well, this board, whenever we get a call and we're like, man, that's a strong one right there, we want to 100% make sure that we don't drop the ball with that individual or with that lead, right? Our mantra is to do 7 times. We want to call them 7 times before we get up on them. Well, you absolutely want to call strong certain people. You want to make sure you got your 7 in before you gave up on them. And you want to get those 7 in really quickly, like within, let's say, a week. You want to get all 7 of your touches in on that person. So you want to be really aggressive with certain people. Okay, so the way that, but again, you get caught up, your life gets busy, you get turned around, and then you forget, and then you realize, man, I had that person, they was hot, they was ready to go, and they told me to call them yesterday, and I forgot, and now it's been 3 days later, and now I've been turned cold, right? So what we did is that we put this board up here. So now what happens is that the first thing that we look at in the morning is this board, and the last thing we look at before we walk out of the office is this board. And when we walk in there, we put the name, the phone number, the email, everything that you need is on the sticky note, right? To call them. I mean, I'll stand in front of the board with my phone, and I'll call the people on there to engage them, right? And then there are people on there that, ours is a little different, because I wanted people on the board that I could ask my teammates. So I could ask April, hey, did you call this person? What's up with this person right here? Like, I'm making sure that not only are they engaged, but I'm engaged, and I'm able to give the right oversight over the right leads or the right people. Right? So I think, and again, I know we're so digital. We have our iPads, we have our phones, we have our computers, and I get it. And matter of fact, not only do I get it, I'm an advocate for it, because it does. It truly makes your life easier if you know how to utilize the digital tools like your smartphone and your iPad. You got to know how to use them. Yet there are still tried and true methods like what I'm talking about that you don't want to do that on the phone, right? You want to be forced to get up, walk over to it, or when you get something, write it on a sticky note. Like it's just, I think it's just some power that comes with that. There's energy that flows through that when you have to write it down, post it up on the board. Like it's more staying power in your mind that that person's right there, and it's more of a aggression or eagerness in following up and pushing those kind of people forward on, on the conveyor belt, right? So if you set up, even if it's not a board, if you just set up a little area in your home, at your desk, if you're part-time, just somewhere, well, if somebody calls you and they're hot, then write your little sticky note, a little, or whatever, or even if it's a dry erase board, write it up there. I just like the sticky notes, man, because I can take them on and off. So once somebody's not hot no more, I can just easily take them off. And when they are hot, boom, I can put them on there, and then I can move them around. You can see on my board, I've even prioritized the hot board, right? So those that are on the left, those are new, and those are hottest. You always want to hit the newest people first. Those in the middle, they got a little action and work. We're working them, and those that are on the right, they're kind of in a little holding pattern. Like I got some, now when I say a holding pattern with the ones on the right, I'm talking about, they said call next week, right? If it's somebody that's saying, hey, call me in a month, they off this board. Even if they say 2 weeks or a week and a half, this is, hey, check in with me. We're going out of town. Like one guy's on there, they're going out of town. They're looking to buy a house and sell their house, but they're going out of town. They won't be back until the 11th. All right, they're staying on my board, right? Because on June 11th or June 12th, we're going to be on the phone with them. And we got to be, until they tell us no, take us off, don't call me no more, we're going to be trying to get them. We're going to be trying to track them down, right? So that's the first thing that I really want to put on you all's radar, is to figure out a way, this is our way of ensuring that we're not dropping the ball on people that are ready to go, that are hot. I mean, they're hot, like they're smoking, like they're, man, I can this close, meaning that not only am I gonna get paid, I'm gonna get paid quickly on them because they're ready. They're ready to get off the boat. So this was our way of doing that without getting lost in the fray. Okay. All right. So now look, again, I have about 4 more tools. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make this a 2-parter, because I don't want to be rushed as I go through these concepts, as I talk about them. And I want to deal with your questions if you have any questions around it. Like if you have a question around, are you not understanding what I'm saying on how to use this board? Or, this is our way of doing it. Like maybe you want me to help you through how could you do it for you, like with your situation and what you got going on. How could you create a mechanism to where you can keep track, not only keep track of the hot leads, but aggressively be able to attack them, to, get them quickly to, is this going to turn out something or not? Because again, speed is the name of the game when it comes to our business. There's 32,000 real estate professionals. Everybody knows a realtor. Everybody knows a realtor. I met with a lady today who wants to sell her house, and before me, she not only met with a realtor, she met with 2 investors. So if people know people that are looking to buy houses, they know it. Now, how did I get in contact with them? They reached out to me on Facebook. People are still saying that Facebook does not work. I got 2 leads over the last 2 days. I got 2 leads from Facebook, right? The one today, and then one yesterday that we got ended up having 2 other people. No, I'm sorry, ended up turning into two leads, because the lady knew her. I think it was her and her sister was trying to do something. So social media works when you're sending the right information. You gotta be sending information where people don't start ignoring you, or on social media. Because I'm not just sending, hey, hire me, or look at my new listing, or look at, we just helped this person buy a house. I'm not just sending that. In addition to that, because we are sending that, in addition to that, we're sending valuable information. or down the pipeline with the city. You know, tips, tidbits, you know, giving information to where if somebody sees a post, the Homebuyer Workshop, if somebody sees a post from us, they haven't tuned us out because some of the information that they get from us, they probably can use. So what that means is that that keeps us on the forefront of their mind. So when these situations happen, like the young lady hit me on Facebook Messenger and was like, look, you know, my mom needs, in a situation, needs to sell a house. Right? She's been following us. She's been a part of it. She's been in our network, in our environment of audience. Right? So Facebook, social media, man, that stuff works. LinkedIn, got to lead from LinkedIn. I mean, it works. So so that's kind of that with the first tool. You know, if anybody, you know, doesn't have, if you got any questions, you want to talk through it, go ahead and chime in. We can do that. We can engage on that. If not, I got some conflict resolution we can go through real quick, and then I'll wrap it up for today, and then we'll pick things back up next week, you know, after we do our coaching. Okay, let's see. So, conflict resolution. Had a property, we were selling it. Now again, I'm telling you this because you got to know what that contract say, and you got to be clear on that. I mean, self-improvement and competency is so important. Not only does it help you make more money because you're seen as better than other professionals, but it also helps prevent you from losing money by making mistakes, by not knowing, because there are so many details in our business. We closed on the house, and you know, everybody, you know, if you don't know what a fixture is unless it is explicitly explained in the contract that the seller's taking it, it's assumed that it stays with the house. I'm going to say it again. Unless the seller explicitly writes in writing that they're going to be taking this fixture, it's called an exclusion, right? I'm taking you back to real estate school. These are terms that I know that you learned in real estate school. It has to be excluded. If it's a fixture, it has to be written as an exclusion in the contract. So what are your fixtures? All right? Anything that's attached to the house. Anything that's attached. So you got blinds, that's a fixture. Ceiling fan, chandelier, shelves, built-in shelves. If you got anything, stove, if the stove's connected, the microwave, built-in microwave, like any of your built-ins, if it's attached, surround sound system, speakers, TVs, if they're attached to the house, it's a fixture. All right. So now, in this house, they had some drapes. There's a difference between drapes and fixtures, right? Or blinds. Let's say blinds. See, a blind, when it's attached to the house, the whole thing is attached to the house. So yeah, that's a fixture. You have drapes, the only thing that's attached to the house is the rail. The drapes or the curtains are not attached to the house. So what does that mean? That means that a person cannot take the rail, but if they take the drapes, they can do that because it's not attached to the house. Now, just because I know that, not everybody knows that. So I had a buyer's agent who we closed on the property, and then they sent me a text saying that the drapes were supposed to stay with the house because it was a fixture. Now, had I not known the definition of a fixture, I would have got caught up in that. Now, I tell y'all all the time, try to get through that stuff fast, because all it's going to do is take your time, take your energy, it's going to drain you, and it's going to distract you, and you're not going to make any money from that. Like, the money's already been made from that transaction. So now it's about closing it up, moving on to the next. Sent the text saying about the drapes. All right, so now I reached out to my seller and I was like, look, did you take the drapes? She's like, yeah, I took the drapes. I thought it was understood that I was taking the drapes. Now, let's stop right there. What do you mean you thought it was understood? Now, we had never had a conversation about her taking the drapes, right? But just when we talked about them 9 evil bosses last week, she's a seller. She just had in her mind that she could just take the drapes without talking to anybody about it, without getting any kind of guidance or counseling. And now we didn't close on the thing, and she didn't took them. And not only has she taken the drapes, she didn't relocated to Georgia, so she ain't even in the city no more. All right. Reached back out to the buyer, and I was like, yeah, she took the drapes. So then the guy was like, well, you know, how are we gonna fix it? How are we gonna fix it? That ain't my problem. That's what I'm thinking right now. Like, this is not a problem for me, right? I remember I went to see a guy, man, we're gonna talk about him next week, and one of the statements that he said was, you need to tell somebody that's not your monkey, right? Say, that's not my monkey, right? That's your monkey, right? Everybody wants to take their monkey, their problem, their issue, and they want to place their monkey on you. Well, that wasn't my monkey, and I wasn't taking it. That's on you, brother. So he tried to press the issue. Okay. So as he tried to press the issue, that's when, again, my knowledge of this business kicked in. And I had to educate him on what a fixture was and what was assumed, because the only way that the buyer was entitled to the drapes was if we had that in a non-realty items addendum. Or even if it was a special provision, it had to be somewhere in writing saying you're taking the drapes. It's not automatically assumed as a fixture, because the fixture is not the drapes, it's the rails. So I confirmed with the seller, did you take any of the rails? And she was like, nope, didn't take any of the rails. All I did was take the drapes. So with that being the case, buyer wasn't entitled to the drapes. They got their rails, they got to go buy their own drapes and put them on the rails, which are attached to the house, right? So again, the knowledge of this business is important. Don't just be trying to fly by the seat of your pants and not educating yourself on things, because they will pop up. Stuff that you learned in class, it will pop up. They ask you to do continuing education, you need to do it. You need to read, you need to be up to what's going on with the legal updates, the ethic updates, because that stuff, our business is ever changing and it will present itself. You have got to be educated, because so much or so many of your colleagues are not. They are not educated. And this guy that I'm having this conversation with, he had a team, you know, an assistant. Like, you think he big time, right? But that right there could have turned into something crazy if I wasn't really able to educate him on how that works. And I've had to do that on some occasions, on guys that have been in this business and have done transactions. Matter of fact, it's happened to me, where I was mistaken on something, and an agent had to check me on, you know, contractually and things like that. So, especially when it comes to this conflict resolution piece, you gotta know the contracts, what they say, what it means, the definitions. You gotta know that stuff, because it is gonna come back up. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, I stick to my business model of lead generation, lead follow-up, going on appointments, negotiating contracts, self-improvement. Well, the self-improvement piece is not only getting better from, you know, a salesmanship standpoint, but also getting better in the understanding from a competency standpoint of how you do this business. So it still falls in my business model, and it's something that self-improvement is something you should be doing all the time. But you got to make sure you got a healthy diet of those first 4. So that was my thing on with conflict resolution. So haven't heard from the guy back. I probably won't never hear from the guy about that situation again, because I was able to defray it, de-escalate it, and send him on his way. So now that's something that he's got to take up with his client, as far as them wanting the drapes or not. That's pretty much all that I have. Maybe if we have enough time next week, I'll actually go through this article that I pulled up in the Dallas News. It's about the high-speed rail. I mean, I don't know if you all know about the high-speed rail that's coming to Houston, or that they're working on bringing it to Houston. So I'm going to give y'all an update on that. Not from the Houston standpoint. I'm going to give you the update from the Dallas standpoint, because this article was in the Dallas News. With that being said, that's all I have today. Do you lovely people have anything, any coaching, any questions, any engagement, any comments, anything for me that I can help you with?
Yes.
Great.
I have a question. Do you guys suggest
What
putting
you got?
your telephone number? You only have one phone, because I only have one phone right now. Do you suggest
Hmm.
putting your number on social media?
I would. Or well, you tell me what is your what's your apprehensions around it?
Sometimes I get calls from men that are just not about business.
Okay. Now you can have a you can get a Google number, and that's free through Google Voice.
Okay.
Do you know that? What you should do is get a Google Voice number, and then
Okay.
um, put that number on social media, not your private number.
Mhm.
Okay. Then what you do is you create some hours. So even if you have that on your Google Voice message, because you can have a separate message from your cell phone
Mhm.
on your Google Voice message, then you put your hours on that
Okay.
voicemail. You see what I'm saying?
Great. Great. That's all.
So now you can differentiate on when you answer the phone. That
Sounds
makes sense?
good. It does. Thank you.
Okay, good. Oh, pleasure's all mine. That's what we're here for. All right, what else? Anybody else? Good question, Morgan. No? Okay. Well, look, it's 4th of July. Spend some time with your families. Spend some time relaxing. Uh, but come back. Got to get it done. Got to make it work. Nobody's gonna do it for you. This is your business. This is your business. You gotta own it. You gotta make it work. We're here as a support. We're gonna support you. You know, you have my number. You have Brooks's number. We have our trainings. We got a lot of stuff in that folder. You know, we do that kind of stuff. I don't know what other real estate companies where the broker will go to an event like I went to yesterday and gather the information so I can give it to you guys. Like that's all I was thinking about in my head was I can get it, but let me get the information as well so I can present it to you. So I want to be an extension as I'm going, as I'm seeing, like I get it. Like I know I can get in certain rooms and I get certain information and I get exposed to certain things. I get that. But I want you all to have, because you're a part of my family, because you're a part of Brooks and Davis, you know, I want you to have access. Now you're going to have access to that stuff as well. Everything that's in my head, that comes through my head, that I touch, that I feel, that I get, you all are going to have access to it because you're a Brooks and Davis real estate agent, and I consider you my family, just like what our core values are all about. So with that being said, have a great one, guys. If you need me, reach out to me on the phone. God willing, we will see you next week, bright and early, ready to go. All right, have a good one.